All right, week 17 classwork, right? Computer concepts. You're going to see several of these today, so this is my first. May the 4th be with you. Really? I know we talked about it earlier, but still, right? So if somebody says it to you, how many don't know what May the 4th be with you is? Okay, you know. So you also know Cinco de Mayo. So isn't it funny that Cinco de Mayo falls May the 4th be with you? It's kind of an interesting dynamic. So happy Cinco de Mayo early, okay? That's all I want to say. So these are called GIFs. You guys seen these? Have you seen the website where you can grab these? Giphy? I love it. I spent way too much time on this lecture in that website. I'm just going to warn you right now, okay? So last lecture. In your notes, last lecture, here's your second Giphy of the day. Right? This was fairly recent too, wasn't it? I don't know. Anyway, so last lecture. So there's always a certain level of excitement when a class finishes. Some people have a certain level of, oh my God, right? But here's the deal. It's not too late for you to do whatever it is you need to do to pass this class. I'll talk about that in a little bit today. But there's also a sense of, wow, you did it, right? Accomplishment. I mean, I've been in school not that long ago, and I remember walking out of a class many times feeling like, yeah, I did that. I'm done. Once and done, I'm out, okay? So I want to give you like some inspiration related to some of the content you've been exposed to in this class. There's 12 entry-level jobs I found this article on, but there's 4 I think I found that are specifically related to content that we've covered. And the article, so just put in your notes, entry-level jobs. So one is computer programmer, not a big surprise there. Now, when we talk about entry-level jobs, that means a bachelor's, and it's not for me to say that once you finish this class, you're ready to go do that. What this means is that if you found that JavaScript stuff at all interesting and you want to continue, you know, there's a viable job out there for that. And here's the other thing I would say. I don't advocate doing something just for money. I never have. Luckily, you find your passion and the money will come. But the key is you find your passion. So if you found any of this stuff really fun, think about it. So computer programmer's one. The other one, I'll have a couple I have to look through here, not marketing. Although marketing coordinator, obviously important. Number 8. Web designer, right? So the other one, and we've covered a little of this, more of, I've talked about a user interface, user experience, user design. So this is somebody that does design for websites. There's another job up here, I think it's number 2, so I'll have to go previous to see it, but it is the graphics, good graphics designer. Okay, so there are several jobs out there. Sales representative, I've never been good at this. I don't know if you've tried. I'm not good at selling things, but if you're good at it, good entry-level job. Financial analyst. Now, put this one in your notes because with your Excel experience, this one is something that if you continue with your study of finances or if you continue, you'll need some Excel experience. So that's obviously an important one. And here's the other one is graphics designer. So a graphics designer is somebody that might do web design, but also probably does print design, you know, so does things for print. So these are good skills to have. The last one, I think, was it 14, is the database analyst. No, that's not the one. That's the last one maybe I want to talk about. Oh, here's a fun one, environmental engineer. This is really something we need these days. We need more people thinking about dealing with and talking about how we'd make the world a better place. Any nursing students in here? This is also in the list, so this is good. I think this is the one I'm looking for. Yeah, so put this one in your notes, database analyst. I talked about this when I talked about the database stuff, right? So I guess what I'm trying to do is give you some encouragement that a lot of the stuff you've been introduced to here, if you found it interesting and you think you want to do it, there is a path for entry-level jobs if you continue on, and decent jobs at that rate, okay? So that was my thing, and here's my meme for this, right? Who is this? Carlton, right? Who doesn't know Carlton's dance, right? Okay, so again, you know, I mean, obviously we want you to go out and get employed. We also want you to get further degrees. We are also vocational based, so, you know, we have all those things in mind. Now, having said that, I'm teaching 2 classes next semester that continue this. First, I'm teaching CIT-82, so just in your notes, CIT-82. web technologies, 100% online, no course materials, no cost, except for whatever you have to do to register at the campus. It's because I'm using that thing I talked about, I think 2 weeks ago, lynda.com. So what this is really taking the idea of what does it mean to be a web developer, and it's giving you that first class that really does a survey look at what it means and what you need to know to start being a web developer, okay? So the other class that I'm teaching, and I've given you the heads up, is, and put this in your notes, CIT-93. So 93 is a coding class. And in this class, again, I'm using lynda.com. This one does have a small $19 fee. That's it, right? I mean, I really work on trying to make classes attainable. Now, the difference between something like you've just finished with us in this class is that I don't have complete autonomy in the way I can teach it. I have to do my IT lab. I don't have a choice, okay? But with these classes, these are classes that I pretty much own and can do it the way I want to. So on 93, here's what I'd like to say. If you're at all interested in this class, this one kind of expects you to have been through 82 and through 85. But if you found JavaScript fun and you want to continue, this is a total coding class. You watch lectures outside of class and you come in class to do coding challenges. Put this in your notes. This is what we call a flipped classroom environment. You see more and more of this these days, that flipped classroom environment. So again, if you have found, Yeah, well, the way I teach both of these, but most specifically the way I'm going to teach JavaScript. So I've not taught JavaScript. This is a class that I've been wanting to get for a while, and I finally got in the pattern to get it. So I'm really going to try something new because it's going to be fun, and I really want it to be a hands-on experience, because with coding, it's really about muscle memory. And you may have felt that because as you were doing the Code Academy, like if you forgot something from prior, right, you have to go back and review. So it's a lot of muscle memory and learning just these what we call patterns. Okay, so in your notes, all I want to make sure 82, 93, and what else did I say? Flipped classroom. So make sure you have those concepts in your notes. Okay, so that was my, here's jobs, here's ways that you might think about continuing if you're interested. Now, let's talk about the class and are you passing? Right, so let's just be clear. What do you need to pass? What grade is a passing grade here? What? C. And C is a what percentage? 70%, okay? So you need 70% to pass this class. Here's my Giphy for this. So if you're not passing, right, now is the time for you to get busy, because we're about to the place of the semester where you're not going to have any more time, okay? So I'll talk about that. So in your notes, just make sure you know 70%. You have to have a minimum of 70%. Now, if you got higher, good for you. Good for you, right? And I know several people do because I track the statistics on this class, and I know what it looks like. Okay, so very important dates in your notes. Very important dates. Let's see if you know them. Let's see if you know the answer to the questions. Last date to take the final. 16th at what time? 3 in the afternoon? That was a good guess. Not true. Anybody else know? 1? 11? Yeah, that's what it says in Canvas, right? Midnight, okay? Now, I always do the caveat, but let's just continue. Last date to ask for late work to be graded. Same day as the final, which is May 16th at midnight. So let's just be clear, because I've had a few questions. So if you do work late, what percentage is discounted? What do I mark off if it's done late? 25%, okay? And how do you get those points back if you want them back? Or yeah, do the trainings or any of the other stuff I've determined to be those, right? And you do have to, by the way, you do have to do the sheet, the late points return sheet, okay? Now let me tell you a little secret. This is all the items except quizzes. Quizzes, I actually don't mark as discounted off. I've been lying to you the whole semester, okay? And the reason is it's hard to do it in Canvas. So in your notes, quizzes, if you don't complete them, I do put a 0 in there. But if you complete it, it just shows the last attempt you had. Okay? So, and that is a good way to increase your score, but we'll talk more specifically about that in a minute. So what's the last date to use this late points return process? Huh? May 16th. Yes, it was a trick question. All of those above was May 16th at midnight. Okay? Now, everybody hopefully knows by now. Some haven't figured this out, although I've said it. Really, I wake up the next morning, right? But here's the deal. There's a good chance I'm going to be up at midnight on May 16th. Okay? For reasons that aren't related to this class that I'll talk about in a little bit. Okay? Okay, so in your notes, make sure you have these dates, right? So the final, the late point, the late grade. And by the way, if you haven't done the late points return, but you've done trainings, you want to make sure you do that sheet. And where should you place that sheet before you share it with me? Shared with Rio. That still seems to be a little bit of an issue for some folks that I'll talk about a little more today. Okay, so now Tuesday, May 17th is a review day. But very, very important, no more work will be accepted. And all that means, and put just review date in your notes, is that you can look and ask me any questions that you have about your grade, but you can't work on the course anymore. So you need to make sure you've scheduled yourself accordingly to that date, the night before, right? What I will probably do in Canvas, because I haven't done this in Canvas yet, so I have to figure this out, but I think I'll just take everything that's listed in the home and take it away. So what, can you work on the 17th? Can you ask me questions about your grade on the 17th? Yes, that's really what that day's for, okay? By the way, you don't have to wait until the 17th, right? You don't have to wait. And really, it's probably better that you don't wait. Okay. So my plan is to actually post grades on the 18th in the morning, but you don't see them for at least a week or two after I post them. So, but, you know, just know that my plan is to post them after that, on that date, okay? So here's a question. If you have grade questions after May 17th, what's going to happen? What's done is done, and here's my meme. No way. Okay? I spent way too much time, but it was totally fun, right? Doing this, putting this together, right? So again, that's here, and I want to be honest with you why I do this, because this happens to me still. After I talk about all this, I have somebody contact me and they're like, but Rio, I'm so close to passing. I'm like, you should have thought about that before, right? And they're like, yeah, but just let me do this and this and this. And I say, if I let you do it, I should have let everyone do it. I feel that's unfair if I let somebody do it and I didn't let everyone do it. So my rule has no exception in this case. So in your notes, no exception to the after May 17th. Now questions and or doing any work after the 16th, right? Clear? Yeah? Clear as mud? No, should be crystal clear, okay? That's what I want. That's my hope. That's what I'm going for. So part of this week's work, and actually about half of the points for this week is going to come from what I'm about to show you to do, how to do. And it's nothing you don't know about, but in your notes, put my planned grade. So what I want you to do, and by this time we're going to be in week 17, next week. So really there's only going to be a couple items, but I'm going to show you this. So everyone, and by the way, what you're looking at here is nobody's grade. It's just a student account that I have. And I'm hoping you all remember I talked about the what if, so that you can go in here and put grades that like if you have work that you plan on making up, you could put those numbers in here, right? So like in this case, let's say 75% on the lab test. Could you get more, assuming that you got like 90 on the lab test? Could you get those points back? Yeah, if you did the late points returned. So in this case, let's say, right, and I already put that in there, let's say you'd use the late points returned, you send it to me, that's now 94. So here's the deal, as you're going through and looking at your grade, right, this shows, like in this scenario right now, this student barely has an A, okay? And everything has been entered except for what? The final. So by the way, in order to get the full points here, you have to have something in each item. So if it was a 0 and you plan on making it up, just put that in there. Because the point of this assignment is for you to plan what you want your grade to be in the end. Okay? So how would we go through, how would you do this? Like, really, if you were to say worst case scenario would be what? Oh, that's actually interesting, your average for the chapter quizzes, but worst case scenario would be 0. Let's say I didn't want to take the final. What would happen to your grade if you didn't take the final? Because what percentage is the final of your grade? 10%. So what is it going to do to your grade? Right? So not taking the final, even though you have an A, is going to affect your grade. Okay? Now, can you, though, ask the what if in a more specific term? Like, what if I get 50%? Can I know that? Oh my God, I'm closer. What if I did 75%? Wow, I'm so close. Now, is that the only path for the student to get an A in this scenario? No, what's the other path to get more points? Yeah, go back, take quizzes, right? Go back, do late work. Are you understanding what I'm asking you to do here? I'm asking you to plan your grade. Okay? So let's say, I mean, we could keep going with the final, but let's say you wanted to put your effort elsewhere because how many questions on the final? 150? How many times can you take it? 3 max. The highest one will be reported. So let's say I was going to do makeup work on that, right? Would that make a difference? Ooh, I'm closer. I'm so close, right? So I could go through and look at some of these. I could go, by the way, what are the things that have the biggest impact on your grade in our class from highest? Final, lab test, right? Which, by the way, if you don't know that, you can go look at the syllabus because it talks about that. Okay, talks about the percentage of each of those. So if it was me, I'd go back, redo the lab test, and do late points return to get 100 on that lab test because it's got a big impact on my grade, and suddenly I'm at an A. Got it? All right, so step 1 in your notes is you have to fill out all items with what you plan on doing, okay? So you have to give me what you plan on doing, the what if in Canvas. So step 2 is you're going to report it to me. And this is nothing new. I've showed you how to do this before. But everybody clear on step 1? Which, by the way, attendance is not part of your grade. So you don't have to. And this is, you can see this, just show the screen real quick. You can see this over here. Each item has, like classwork has 20% hands-on. You break this down. No impact in attendance. Because I don't believe in that. To me, we're all adults. I have to report. But really, you know if you need to come to class or not. I have had some students this semester, more than normal, just stop coming to class, but they're still doing the work. And I think that's okay. Okay? All right. So now once you do that, and you get so to get the points, you have to fill out every number, and this represents your planned grade, and then you do this. File, print. I bet you know where I'm going, right? What am I going to create here? PDF, right? So if you're in Chrome, and I think this does it in Firefox and other browsers, but Chrome is the easiest for me because I love it, right? So I'm going to hit save, and it's going to save to a PDF. I pay attention to where it's saving. In my case, it's desktop. It doesn't really matter. You'll hit save, and then it'll create it. And then what do you do? Okay, so step 2 in your notes is print or save to PDF. So you hit File, Print, you hit Save, you make sure you change it to PDF, and you're good to go. That's for step 2. Step 3 is not a surprise. Upload to the Shared with Rio. I'm not sure why this has been a challenge for some people, but it has been. Okay, so you upload to the Shared with Rio, and then you link that into your classwork. So let's just complete this. I'm going to double click because I've already uploaded it. By the way, anybody need me to remind you how do you upload documents here? New file upload. Okay, I did remind you. Okay, so here, what's the other step I need to do before I put the link inside of classwork? pop out. All right, so upload. So step 1, fill out numbers. Step 2, save to PDF. Step 3, save, upload to what? Shared with Rio, good job. And then on the link, make sure you do the pop out. So step 4 is link that into your classwork. Okay, so how much of your grade for this classwork is that going to represent? Yeah, 50 points. That's a big number, okay? That's a big number, so make sure you do this right. And when I look at this, this is what I think, this is you telling me this is what grade I plan on getting in your class, okay? Okay, I think where this whole shared with Rio thing got a little confused in the last assignment was that people felt like since they linked it from classwork, even though they may have had it in another directory, I still would have had access. And that's just not true. You can provide me a link, but if that linked document, that actual physical where it's going to, if it's not in the shared with Rio, I won't be able to see it. One more note, and I said this before, but I'm going to say it one more time. If you do late points returned, I have to be able to edit that file because I update it when I update Canvas with your work. So make sure if you're doing that file, many have already done it, but some still may need to do it. Okay, any questions about that? No? All right, you got it? Cool. So here's my meme for this. My blend grade, right? This is what I'm hoping for. This is what I'm planning for. This is what I want. Who is that, by the way? Anybody know? Yeah, it's but he's playing Steve Jobs, the movie. Anybody seen it? Me either. I haven't seen it. It's on my possible summer list. We'll see. It's one of all the movies I get to get caught up with. Okay. All right. Next thing. My schedule for week 18. Okay. I think I've already warned you, right? But anybody know? I'm gone except for Monday. So in your notes, I am only on week 18, right? So next week, week 17, many students will not watch this until week 18 or week 17. And then week 18 is finals week. So for you all in class, there's really only one day you're here anyway, right? Which is Monday. So in your notes, I'm here from noon until 1:30 on Monday the 16th. That's the only day I'm on campus. Okay? Yeah.
So will we be having a final session where we just kind of hang out?
It's up to you. I'm going to be here because I have to be. Okay? And you're welcome to come in if you need a computer, if you just want to say hi, you want to hang out, whatever. I'm going to be here. If you're online and you want to come in and get anything last minute done, want to ask me questions, that's the day you want to come. Because I leave right after for Google. I'm gone for the rest of the week. Now, so that means on the review day, if you have questions, you're emailing me. Or you're, right, probably not on class chat, but you're emailing me. And I'm responding that way. Because even though I'm in a global summit on Tuesday, I will still be replying. I'm still working that day. Cool? So what's the schedule for the 18th? For week 18? What's the only day I'm here? Monday from what time? 12 to 1:30, BE 127 for the online students. All right, here's my meme for this one. This is where I'll be. By the way, anybody know this movie reference? Nerds. I'm going to be with a bunch of nerds. I'm going to have a good time, okay? By the way, Google is kind of hinting there's going to be a huge announcement while we're up there. Something huge coming out of Google. We don't know if it's just hype or if it's real, but so if you see something in the news, that's, you know. So I think I'm going to get to see the driverless car and be in it. That'll be really interesting and fun. Okay, so that's week. Okay, so now the other thing I want from you is course feedback. So I want you to do it specifically in this way that I'm asking, right? I want you to give me your honest feedback about the following topics, and I've broke it down by major class, what's in this class. So first, I want you to look through classwork. I really feel like we've covered a lot of different topics in classwork. And give me your feedback about that, right? You know, so whatever it is, it doesn't have to be long. It could be a short paragraph about that. So classwork, right? The hands-on stuff, which has been the movie and mostly the Code Academy stuff. You know, would you say I should do that again? Would you have me change it? Was it good? Whatever your experiences were. And then the My IT lab, including the lab test. So what I want in your notes is I want major headings for each of these, and then I just want a short paragraph about your feedback about these items. Because here's the truth. I really, really, really do look at this feedback, and I really, really do take it into consideration, and I really, really do try to make the course better every semester. I mean, I've been doing this one a couple times now, and so I've really tried to make it better because that's actually the intention, believe it or not. Most of us want to make this stuff better, and your feedback is so important, okay? So the other is the quizzes, which would include the final. All right, so those are 4 categories I want your feedback on. Okay, any questions about that? Cool. And honest, really, and this is not one of those things like, and I know maybe some teachers do this, but I don't. It's like, yeah, if it's good, it gets better points. No, right? I actually really want your honest feedback about this stuff, okay? So I put this out there just because I think it's important too, is rate your professor is good, not just for me, but for all instructors. And I'm not saying that should be your only thing you look at when you're looking at courses if you have choices. But it's one thing to take into consideration. And I think it's your way to give an anonymous voice to something that you may not always feel comfortable saying. So just take that in consideration. And again, if there's honest feedback, put it out there on that site too. Because to me, I would want students to trust what the authenticity of that is. But, you have to take it with a grain of salt too. So it's like one person is bad. Okay, I'm not going to. But it's 200 people and it's all bad. I'm going to look at that. If it's 200 people and it's mostly good, I'm going to look at that, right? So take it in consideration. So course feedback is that one. So I am going to give you a link to, came out recently, the Finland people really have gotten better at their education system. And you know how they did it? Less time in school. From the elementary perspective, what they did is they said students need to play more. And I really believe that. I think we don't play enough. I don't think you have enough fun. And by the way, it's shown that you don't sleep enough. Do you know this? The studies have shown most of you only get at the max 6 hours. And that's not good enough for all the information that you're being exposed and asked to integrate. So I think this is a good model. It's only like 5 minutes. I'm going to have you watch it. I'll link it into the thing, but I think it's good. All right, so almost last topic, my advice. I'm going to give you a couple pieces of advice, just life in general. Okay? And this is my meme. So here's kind of what I'm trying to give you with this, right? Is that, and I'll just be honest with you, I've been through a lot in my life. I've been through therapy. I've been through a lot of different modalities of growth, right? And here's what I think a lot of it boils down to, is that just be happy. Even if you're not happy, just choose to be happy. Because if you choose to be happy long enough, you will then just be happy. And I know that may sound weird, but also if you're not happy, observe what you're thinking. Because your thinking will lead to the way you feel. And if you're feeling bad, think about what you're thinking about and then change it. Really, that's it. I mean, I've been through a lot, and that's kind of my bottom line. Is like, you want to be happy? Think happy. And I know that may also sound like Pollyanna kind of stuff. Have you heard that term, Pollyanna? So the other thing is, this also relates to kind of our campus too. Like, how many of you have heard some of this stuff coming out about first Fresno City? What happened here recently? We had a couple of things happen. One just yesterday. Who heard about the tuberculosis thing? Yeah, there was a student had tuberculosis, and they contacted all the students to make sure, and they're giving free tuberculosis testing. What's the other thing that happened recently on our campus? Of violence, right? So people see that kind of stuff and they think that's what it's about. And I got to tell you, that's such a small part of my experience here on campus. But people hear that stuff and they think that's the way everything is. They think, oh my God, I can't go to city. It's horrible down there. It just hasn't been my experience here. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I think when we take those things and we generalize it and we think it's true for everything, and it's just hasn't been my experience. How about Fresno? Has Fresno been getting dinged lately? Uh-oh, what happened? In general, yeah, anybody know why recently? Homelessness, we were rated dumbest. So it's another thing. I don't know why these things come out, but they do, and people latch onto them and they think, God, everybody in Fresno's dumb. Boy, that has not been my experience. Here's the other thing I hear about Fresno. There's nothing to do here. Oh my God. If you think there's nothing to do in Fresno, you haven't been looking, okay? Look at Meetup. There's awesome stuff to do. Okay, so that's my advice. Think happy thoughts. I know it sounds simple, but it's really true. And how you think happy thoughts is you observe what you are thinking. That's part of why I meditate, because I realize what I'm thinking when I meditate and I try to quiet my mind. I realize what's trying to go on in my head. So here's my other piece of advice, right? Is all the days you wake up, you have one job, and that's just to get better every single day, right? Just attempt to be better. Be a better human. Uh-oh, we lost. We lost. Hang on, I think I know why. Yeah, hang on, I can do it here. I think. Go back. No, yeah, because it did that real quick. Sorry, you guys, we'll be back in just a second. There we are, okay? So that's my other piece of advice here. You know, you just try to be a better human, right? Walk better on the planet. Be conscious of what you do. Be conscious of other people. Be a kind person, which most of you are, by the way. I've met very, people, that's the other thing I hear from other instructors. Students are so horrible. I'm like, who do you have? Because all the students I have are really cool. They're really awesome. They're doing what they want to do. They're focused. So I don't know where that stuff comes from, but just don't buy into it. Okay, and that's all, folks. Okay, any questions, comments? No, let's show them. Let's say goodbye to the online students. Peace out, peace in, peace all around.